Deep within China's industrial heartland, there exists a facility that represents one of the most audacious technological achievements of our time. This isn't just another data center, it's a testament to human ingenuity when faced with seemingly impossible constraints, and it's reshaping everything we thought we knew about the global artificial intelligence race. What makes this facility so extraordinary? It delivers nearly twice the computational power of America's most advanced systems, despite being built by a company that was supposedly cut off from the very technology needed to make such performance possible. The engineering feat behind this achievement reads like a thriller novel, complete with international intrigue, technological espionage allegations, and solutions so unconventional that they defy industry wisdom. This is the story of how determination, massive resources, and brilliant engineering created an AI powerhouse that wasn't supposed to exist. And understanding how this happened reveals something profound about the future of artificial intelligence that most people completely miss. The chip that defied all expectations. When international restrictions were placed on advanced semiconductor technology, the goal was crystal clear: prevent the development of cutting-edge artificial intelligence systems by denying access to the most sophisticated chips and manufacturing equipment. These weren't gentle trade disagreements. These were deliberate, strategic moves designed to maintain technological superiority by creating what seemed like insurmountable barriers. Yet somehow, against every prediction and policy intention, Huawei unveiled the Ascend 910C processor. This wasn't some modest achievement or incremental improvement. This chip delivers 800 teraflops of computational power at 16-bit precision, making it 4 times more powerful than the most advanced processor that can legally be sold within China's borders. The architecture itself tells a fascinating story of reverse engineering and innovation. Following a dual-die configuration similar to the most advanced Western designs, each processor package contains 2 computational cores linked by high-speed interconnects surrounded by cutting-edge memory modules. This effectively doubles both processing power and memory capacity in a single package. But here's where the story becomes genuinely mysterious. Industry reports suggest these processors are manufactured using 7-nanometer technology by the world's most advanced foundries. How did these chips end up powering systems despite international restrictions? The supply chain remains deliberately opaque, with theories ranging from stockpiled components to complex international routing schemes. What's undeniable is that these processors now power one of the most ambitious computing projects ever attempted. And the chip itself is just the beginning of a story that gets progressively more incredible. The system that rewrote the rules. Most companies would have built a modest system around such processors, perhaps connecting dozens of them in a conventional configuration. Huawei took a completely different approach, one so audacious that it fundamentally challenges how we think about large-scale computing. The Cloud Matrix 384 contains 384 individual processors, more than 5 times the number found in comparable Western systems. Through sheer scaling and architectural innovation, they achieved nearly double the raw computational performance of systems that were supposed to be technologically superior. This isn't just about throwing more hardware at the problem. The engineering challenges of connecting nearly 400 high-performance processors are staggering. Every component must communicate with every other component in real time, creating a web of interconnections that would make most engineers nervous just thinking about the complexity involved. The performance numbers are genuinely impressive. While comparable Western systems deliver around 180 petaflops of computational power, the Cloud Matrix pushes that figure to over 300 petaflops. That's not a marginal improvement, that's a fundamental leap in capability. But achieving this performance required making trade-offs that reveal something fascinating about different approaches to technological development. The power consumption tells the story: 600 kilowatts versus 145 kilowatts for comparable systems. Huawei's solution consumes more than 4 times the electricity to deliver roughly twice the performance. Why would any rational engineering team make such a trade-off? The answer lies in a technological gamble that nobody else has attempted at this scale. But the optical revolution nobody saw coming. The secret behind the Cloud Matrix's capabilities lies in a radical departure from conventional wisdom. While most systems use copper cables for internal connections, prioritizing cost-effectiveness and power efficiency, Huawei went completely optical. Imagine thousands upon thousands of optical transceivers operating simultaneously, each one transmitting data at the speed of light between processors. Every single processor connects to the network fabric through multiple optical links, creating a web of light-based communications that enables unprecedented data transfer rates. This approach provides massive bandwidth advantages. Information can flow between components faster and in greater volumes than traditional electrical connections allow. But optical transceivers consume enormous amounts of power, and maintaining thousands of optical connections creates reliability challenges that simpler systems avoid entirely. It's a genuinely risky approach. Optical systems at this scale are inherently more failure-prone than their electrical counterparts. The complexity of managing so many simultaneous optical connections pushes the boundaries of what's technically feasible. Most engineers would consider it reckless. Yet from Huawei's perspective, this calculated gamble makes perfect sense. They needed a solution that could work with currently available technology, and they needed it immediately. Advanced integrated optical solutions that would provide similar performance with lower power consumption remain years away from widespread deployment, so they made a strategic decision: sacrifice power efficiency to achieve performance scaling using today's technology. And for their specific circumstances, this trade-off might actually be brilliant. Why power consumption becomes irrelevant. Here's the counterintuitive reality that most analyses miss. Chinese customers probably don't care about quadruple power consumption. While Western companies obsess over power efficiency because electricity costs money and data center capacity is constrained, China operates under completely different constraints. Energy costs in China are significantly lower than in Western markets. More importantly, over recent years, China has massively expanded power generation capacity using renewable sources like solar, hydroelectric, wind, and nuclear power. From a pure availability and cost perspective, they have power capacity to spare. This represents a fundamental strategic difference in approach. Western companies optimize obsessively for efficiency because resources are expensive and constrained. China is optimizing for capability and technological independence, accepting higher resource consumption as an acceptable trade-off for domestic production capability. In the long term, artificial intelligence costs will converge toward energy costs. China has made enormous infrastructure investments to ensure they won't be constrained by power availability. Building a less efficient system that actually works and can be manufactured domestically might be preferable to waiting indefinitely for access to more efficient foreign technology that may never become available. The software revolution hidden in plain sight. Hardware alone doesn't create functional artificial intelligence systems. The cloud matrix operates on Huawei's proprietary KN software stack, a comprehensive platform similar in concept to established Western alternatives but built specifically for their unique architecture. This software handles everything from code compilation to performance optimization to workload distribution across hundreds of processors simultaneously. When you have 384 processors connected by thousands of optical links, system complexity explodes exponentially. Coordinating computation across that many components requires sophisticated software to maintain efficiency and prevent failures. CN represents years of development specifically optimized for Huawei's neural processing units, specialized components designed to accelerate artificial intelligence tasks like matrix multiplication and tensor processing. These are built on entirely proprietary architecture developed completely in-house. China has historically demonstrated exceptional strength in software development, and that expertise is crucial here. While they may lag in cutting-edge semiconductor manufacturing, their software capabilities help compensate by extracting maximum performance from whatever hardware they can produce. The manufacturing mystery that changes everything. Despite these remarkable achievements, manufacturing remains the most significant challenge. Industry reports suggest the processor cores are still manufactured using advanced international foundries, somehow making their way into China through supply chains that remain deliberately opaque. What's certain is that China still depends heavily on Western manufacturing technologies and tools for the most critical components. Even as they work to develop domestic alternatives, achieving high yields and consistent quality at advanced manufacturing scales remains challenging. But this is ultimately a matter of time, funding, and persistence, all of which China possesses in abundance. They're methodically building parallel supply chains, developing domestic alternatives to every critical component, and investing enormous resources in closing technological gaps. The next generation of processors is already in development and production. Each iteration moves closer to matching or exceeding Western performance while relying less on foreign supply chains. The trajectory is clear, even if the timeline remains uncertain. What this really means for the future. This story illustrates something fundamental that's often missed in discussions about artificial intelligence hardware. Success is no longer just about building the best individual components. It's about building complete systems and infrastructure that actually work in the real world. In practical applications, systems and infrastructure matter more than individual component specifications. Huawei may be years behind in pure silicon performance, but they found workarounds at the system level through networking architecture and software optimization. They built a less elegant solution that actually functions and can be manufactured largely domestically. This represents a genuine challenge to assumptions about how technology restrictions would impact artificial intelligence development. Export controls were supposed to create insurmountable barriers. Instead, they've stimulated rapid domestic development of parallel technological ecosystems. The question isn't whether alternative artificial intelligence infrastructure can be built anymore. It demonstrably can, even if it's less efficient than Western alternatives. The question is how quickly remaining gaps will be closed, and what happens to global competition when they are. The era of assuming Western technological dominance in artificial intelligence infrastructure is quietly ending. The systems being built today, while imperfect, are capable enough to power independent development, and they're improving rapidly with each generation. Whether this represents a concerning development or simply the inevitable result of restricting access to technology depends entirely on perspective. But the reality is undeniable. Determined nations with sufficient resources can engineer their way around technological restrictions, even if the solutions they develop are unconventional and costly. The future of artificial intelligence development is being written in facilities like this one, powered by thousands of optical connections and consuming enormous amounts of electricity, but delivering performance that wasn't supposed to be possible. That changes everything we thought we knew about technological competition in the 21st century.